Wait, hold on.
Hello, DCP families. Thank you for taking the time to watch this webinar to learn more about our reopening plans. My name is Mercedes Carvajal, and I'm your Family Engagement Manager, and with us is Amy Fowler, our Chief Academic Officer. We know that school's gonna start August 11th in 100% distance learning, but the purpose of this webinar, we wanna give you more information about your instructional choices so that you may make an informed decision. Based on your choice, we wanna match your child to an advisor or CCR teacher, because we know that having the right advisor and CCR teacher will allow for teachers and students to build a stronger community, either through 100% distance learning or through a hybrid learning model. Moreover, this information and decision will tell you what to expect in the next several months and allow us to plan ahead for when we are able to resume in-person learning. There's a couple of terms that we want to go over. These terms are used throughout the presentation. When we talk about distance learning, it is all the interactions that take place away from the school building. Live instruction or synchronous learning, it's where students and teachers are experiencing instruction together, such as through a Zoom class. Independent or asynchronous learning, it's where students do their work independently at their own schedule. And in-person learning, it's when students and teachers come together to our school building. The hybrid model is a combination of distance and in-person learning.
Thank you, Mercedes. So when I talk with parents about which decision they might want to make for coming back to school, one of the things that they want to know about is what are our operational plans at DCP and how are we going to ensure the safety of our students and our staff? Well, we've been working with the county department, Santa Clara County Department of Public Health, and also our County Office of Education to ensure that we know the critical areas that we need to attend to. And so those areas include physical distancing to make sure that we're all staying the appropriate social distance away from one another, monitoring our arrival and departure procedures, our health screenings, our hygiene measures, how we're going to clean and maintain our campuses and classrooms, how we're going to continue to provide safe food service for our families that qualify for nutrition assistance, what happens if students are taking the bus to and from school, how we can assure that every student has access to technology to support their learning, and health protocols in the unfortunate event that someone is exposed to or actually is diagnosed with COVID-19. I'm going to call out two specific examples to highlight the types of things that DCP has been doing on behalf of your children and our staff as well. So first, in health screenings, we would be able to do what's called a passive screening, and that would mean that parents would take temperatures at home, check in on their kids, and send them to school, and staff would do the same. We've opted instead for active screening. Students and staff will arrive at DCP schools. They'll be asked if they have any symptoms related to COVID-19. They'll have a visual scan and then also a thermal temperature check to make sure that we're all coming into campus healthy and able to be a part of our community. Additionally, for technology, this can't be stated more clearly. Your child is going to need to have their own computer or device in order to access their distance learning. We have a computer for every single student at DCP who needs one. Please don't hesitate to ask us for a device so that your children don't have to share. In addition, if you need help getting connected to the internet, we're here to assist with that as well. There are some programs where we can help you get your own accessibility and also some hotspots. Your school technology coordinator will be able to assist with that. And so with that in mind, we want to let you know that you do have two options. DCP has been founded on the idea of family choice for what's best for their children, and we continue that today in the era of COVID. So first, if you would prefer, your child can do distance learning for this semester. They can stay at home, they can receive their assignments and interact with their teachers all virtually. But we'd really love to see your kids back at school. We miss them and we miss being in your energy as well. And so we're pleased to offer to you a hybrid learning experience that will allow students to come to campus for support on some days, although it won't be the same as when we used to come every day. So I'm going to describe that in a bit more detail. The first thing that you need to know is that our in-person instruction will be focused in our advisory and CCR classes. The advisory program allows for each student to have a single advisor that can be the single point of contact for your family. It's one person dedicated to you, your child, to help you get the resources that you need through DCP as best we can. It also is the advisor's responsibility to keep track of how your child is doing academically in all their classes, attend to their health and mental well-being, and to help develop that college-going mindset that makes college going an actual accomplishment for our DCP students rather than just a dream for others. The reason that we've selected to do our in-person instruction in advisory and CCR is it allows us to have a very stable cohort that stays with one teacher and one group of students together. This type of arrangement allows for more in-person instruction and less risk for everyone when we come back. So we have 4 phases. We start with phase 0, and that's where we're going to open school on August 11th. Under county order, we are not allowed to offer any in-person instruction on campus. And that's because we're on the county, the state's watch list. During this time, students who have selected distance learning and hybrid learning will have the same experience. All of their days, over 10 days, will be at home. And during this time, they'll have about 10 hours of live instruction from their teachers and about 30 hours of asynchronous or independent learning. Now we'll be in phase 0 until such time as we come off the county watch list. When that happens, we'll take 1 week between the time we're notified we can open before we will actually open, so we can make sure that all the protocols are ready to go and that families have had a chance to plan. When we start phase 1, the distance learning students will continue just as they did when they were in phase 0. But our students in the hybrid program will start coming to school 1 day out of every 10. Now they're going to be coming in very small groups. Only 3 to 4 students will be coming at that time with one teacher. And it'll be a half-day schedule. And during this time, they'll be receiving instruction on how to be on campus, how to follow the safety protocols, having some social engagement with their peers, and also some support in their distance learning. This will continue for 4 weeks. It'll give every student 2 chances to practice these protocols in a really small setting and ensure that everyone knows what's expected of them. At the end of that time, we'll move to phase 2. In phase 2, our groups of students will combine so that we'll now have 2 out of 10 days in our advisory group. There'll be somewhere between 6 and 8 students and that one teacher having that half day. And again, the same types of routines and procedures, the social interaction and the support with their distance learning and all of their classes. This will continue in phase 2 until such a time as a school has passed a safety audit to ensure that school is actively adhering to all of the protocols. And when that happens, we'll be able to go to phase 3. And that will have 4 out of 10 days in advisory, a group of students somewhere between 12 and 16, all meeting social distancing requirements. And again, it'll be a half-a-day schedule. In this model, you'll see that there's a shift now and that distance learning is shifting to having more of its live instruction in advisory that matches what the hybrid students are having, more time in advisory. And then the content learning classes will have a bit more asynchronous learning. We hope that phase 3 won't last forever. At some point, we're all hoping to get back to some kind of a normal environment. But for right now, we think it's best to stay in our current cohorts of our advisory classes and not have the mixing for content instruction. In addition to the instructional components, DCP also knows that attending to the wellness of our students is really important. We've been working to develop a protocol that will monitor participation in distance learning that will rely on that strong relationship with the advisor, but also engage our social emotional counselors and office staff to help students re-engage if they become inactive. We've also developed resources for our advisory teachers that will help support weekly mental health check-ins, psychological first aid, and also resources that can support students in developing socially and emotionally. And lastly, many of you have attended the webinars that have been hosted by Mercedes and Michelle Eisnagel related to mental health and developmental needs of adolescents. If you haven't had a chance to see them, they're going to be coming around again. I've heard great things and I think you'd all enjoy participating. So that concludes the information we'd like to share with you today. Again, we'd like for you to make a choice so that we can match your child. Would you prefer that they that they stay home and have distance learning for the whole semester? Or would you like to take advantage of the in-person instruction of the hybrid model? We need to know this answer for each of your children so we can assign them to the appropriate advisor and have them start off the school year with that advisor. We thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to seeing you all and hope that you're all doing well in this very stressful time.